Record on computer.
Hey everybody, this is Dan,
And this is Ron.
and we're coming at you with an Anomini. I had an idea for a short series of these talking about like basic identification and evaluation of common media types. Because I've been, to preface this, I have been collecting, buying, selling various kinds of music, video, and a lot of books for actually more than 10 years now. And
so we're talking Betamax, Super 8, 8-track, 78 RPM, those kind of things, right?
well, I mean, if you can get money for those, then take it. I guess that's the whole guide to 78 RPMs, the ones that are worth money you're never going to see in the wild, unless you're really into, like, you know, orchestra, fake swing music for white people from the 20s. There's nothing that exciting going on with 78s right now. So we figured for the first thing to talk about, or the first thing we're going to talk about on here is audio cassettes.
Okay.
Just because I haven't, I've been really into collecting audio cassettes pretty recently, and I have never come across, I'm sure they probably exist somewhere, but I've not come across a really basic guide of just like, how do I identify when this is from? How do I identify whether this is in decent condition?
Interesting.
Or if it's going to play or not.
I mean, this sounds like the sort of thing that people could find. People like me who know nothing about that. I know what a cassette tape is, but I couldn't tell you like how to value it or anything like that. So
yeah, and so let's go over condition first to figure out if a tape will most likely play.
Okay.
And actually, I'm gonna make a quick cut here because I just remembered something I should actually, or well, you're probably not gonna see it on the camera anyway, so I'll cut that part out. Anyway, so here's a cassette. Here's a cassette. It comes in the standard terms for the parts of the cassette, as you normally get them, is the plastic thing around the outside that's clear on the front. Very often it's black on the back, but sometimes it's clear on both sides. This is called a jewel case, sort of like with a CD. You know, jewel case, you know, it's shiny and you can see through it. When we open the tape, we have the tape itself. This one has what's called a sticker label. Very often they do not have a sticker label, and it's usually a sign that the cassette is older, most likely from the late 60s to late 70s if it does have a sticker label. Although most tapes after that will have the track listing and things on the printed on the outside of the actual cassette.
Wait, so you're saying from the 60s to the 70s, they didn't have the sticker labels on there?
They did have the sticker labels.
Oh, okay.
Let me grab a tape from more. So yeah, here's a good. So here's a tape from 1990, I want to say, something like that. And you can see it's printed on the actual plastic.
Oh, I see. Okay, right.
And you also tend to see screw holes in older ones. So you notice this is just two pieces of plastic clamped together.
Right.
And, but if you look at the older tape that I was showing, there's screws in the corners. If you wanted to take this thing apart to resplice the tape, you could. And then the last thing to note with a cassette is the pressure pad, which the pressure pad, if you can, yeah, you can see it. So
can you point at it?
Yeah, there's a little white square beneath the tape, right? And actually, this one I might have rewound. So yeah, so this one you can actually see it because it's, and I guess the last part to talk about is the leader, which, well, I guess I should talk about the pressure pad a little more first. So the pressure pad, this is a little felt pad right there, that little white thing. And that's what pushes the tape against the head that reads the tape on the machine.
Okay.
So if the pad is not there, do not play the tape or else you're going to mangle the tape because you're just rubbing it against between two pieces of metal, essentially. That can be fixed really easily, but that's a subject for another video.
Okay. And that was just a little piece of felt, it looked like, right?
Yeah, it's just a tiny piece of felt. And
Okay.
then the leader, and you can
Point of-
transplant them from one tape to another. Radio Shack used to sell kits in the 80s where they'd have a bunch of replacement ones. That's the first thing that's always going to go wrong on a tape, and that's inevitable because the glue dries out. Although when the glue dries out, you can still use the pad. You just got to like glue it back in. But so the leader, you notice between these two tapes, one, the tape looks kind of like, well, it probably looks black because of the lighting here, but usually it looks kind of chocolatey brown.
Okay.
And the other thing, as you can see, it's clear. The clear bit of tape is what's called the leader.
Okay.
And that's not actually tape. That's just something where when you have the tape completely rewound, none of the actual tape is exposed to the elements. It's all inside here.
Okay.
And if we took apart a tape, we could go into more of that. But I think like if you're just buying them, that's really all you need to know in terms. Oh, and J cards. J cards. So you get a little piece of paper inside. It's got the track list. It's got a little bit of information about who made it. That's
wait. Oh, so hold it on the side. They're the upside down. No. Okay. No, flip it 90 degrees towards me. Yeah. Now flip it 90 degrees around the vertical. No. You did. Okay. Now. Wait. Give me the J. I want to see the letter J. That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, the J. Oh, the J is.
No. Yeah, they're almost. There you go.
Like
okay, now do this. Yeah, there's the J. No. You had it. There we go. There's the J. No, you had it. There we go. There's the J. There's the J.
There's the J. That's why it's called a J.
Oh, wait. That's not a J. That's a mirror J for me.
Well, it's a backwards J because the camera has a mirror effect.
Yeah. So you know what you could do? You could do this.
but yeah, you can tell that it's shaped like a J, right? So.
Yeah.
And so that kind of goes over a few things. In terms of identifying the age of cassettes, common signs that a cassette is older versus newer. Tell number one, I do not have an example on me just right this moment, but there used to be what were called, I'm forgetting the name of them, but they're plastic cases. Unlike this, there's just an opening on the front where the back of the tape would be, and you pull them out and it just kind of like pinches the tape a little bit. And so that was phased out, I think by like 1975. Some even earlier tapes, they'll just have like a plastic clamshell that's completely black, sort of like a miniature version of what you used to get VHS tapes in. Yeah, and so there are three kinds of tape, broadly speaking, on a technical level. There is what is called type 1 tape, which is the most common. Well, there's three kinds of tape you're ever going to run into. There's four types of tape. So the first one, which is most commercially released cassettes, are going to be on that kind of tape, and you can tell if it's on that kind of tape because it's going to look that kind of chocolate brown color I was describing. And then there's type 2 tape, chrome tape, which was better quality, more expensive. You don't see it a ton with commercially released cassettes, but it does, like there are commercially released cassettes that are on chrome. And that can be a big selling point because it means that the cassette's going to hold up better and it probably sounds better in all likelihood. And you can tell if it's a chrome type 2 tape. Let me see if I can, how close I can get. Okay. All right. I'm going to put a picture up on screen of a close up of this, but basically you can see there's a little logo on the spine here that says chrome.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They're pretty much always going to put that on the tape because that was a huge selling point, because it means like, oh, okay, this is it means we spent more money manufacturing this essentially.
Is there any way to tell by looking at the tape itself?
Yes. And let me take out the tape. This one, I think I might have all the way rewound, but hopefully, I'm pretty sure I have this all the way. Yeah, okay, this is all the way rewound. So the color is basically going to be black.
Oh, instead of that chocolate brown?
Yeah, it's going to be a darker color. And then there is, I'm going to skip over type 3 tape. Type 3 tape was very, very short lived. And it's basically just, they mixed the stuff they made the type 1 and type 2 tapes with.
And how do you identify that?
It would say it directly on the tape. You also, like, I have bought and sold probably about 8 to 10,000 cassettes at this point in my life. And I have found exactly one type 3 tape ever.
Oh, wow. But
yeah, like it was not popular.
When you say it's labeled, is it labeled type 3? Because type 2 was chrome and it's labeled chrome.
Yeah.
So what about type 3?
Type 2 is chrome, and then commercially released tapes, I don't think there ever was a commercially released type 3 tape.
Okay.
Or a type 4 tape, because those were mostly for home recording. Type 4, called metal tapes, those are the absolute highest quality. You would have paid like you probably would have paid twice what you paid for a blank chrome tape.
Mm-hmm.
But metal tape is, you can basically, it's as close as you're going to get to like reel-to-reel studio quality tape inside. Mm-hmm. If you're out hunting for tapes and you see a type 4 blank with something recorded onto it that you like, I'd still say pick it up. Like even a metal tape with stuff recorded over it. This isn't a metal tape, but here's what a blank tape looks like.
Right.
This is a bootleg of Bob Dylan playing San Jose. I would still say pick it up because people will pay $10 for opened ones if it's the right kind. Okay. Even like they're extremely desirable because not a lot of people bought them because they were very expensive.
But so let's say that you're just this super lucky person who came across a type 3 or a type 4. How would you know that?
It says it right on the cassette. So for this one, so there's a few different ways that they say it on the cassette. This is a type 1 cassette, but it would be labeled basically the same. So UR is short for type 1.
Okay.
If you don't know that, you can flip over the tape and it says right there, position 1, normal bias or low bias. Those are just synonyms for type 1 tape.
Okay.
And with blank tapes, I got a bunch of blank. Here's a pretty weird blank tape. So this one's sealed. This is promotional Camel cigarettes blank tape.
Oh, wow.
And right on the spine, it says normal position type 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and type 2 will say chrome on it.
Type 2 will say type 2 high position or chrome or all 3.
And type 3?
Type 3, it's going to say type 3. It usually says ferrochrome.
Okay.
Because ferrite tape is the technical name for the type 1.
Oh, so this is distinguishing and saying it's type 3 ferrochrome as opposed to type 1.
Well, because it has the ferro and it has the chrome. Because type 2 is chrome, so you got the ferro and the chrome, because the popular notion was that type 1 cassettes had better bass and type 2 cassettes had better treble. So the idea with type 3 was to get the best of both worlds, and it kind of flopped on its face. And then metal tapes were way too expensive to produce as commercial tapes.
So how do you identify those? That's type 4?
Metal tapes are type 4. It's going to say it very, very prominently on both the cassette and the J card and any kind of packaging on the outside. Like the type of the tape is usually, if you're looking at blanks especially, which type 4 you're only ever going to see blanks.
Okay.
I don't believe there was ever a commercially released type 4 tape, but it says it like everywhere. So like here's a sealed type 1 tape, high fidelity, normal bias. It says normal bias right there on the back. It says normal bias type 1, all the different things. Yeah, so they're pretty easy to identify. And then there's, I guess, only like a few more things to state. Obviously, if the pressure pad is not in, you can replace it, but it is a gamble whether the tape is going to work, because you don't know if the tape got drawn into the machine with the pad not there, which can severely damage the tape.
Okay.
So there's
Does putting in a new pad, a replacement pad, it makes it so the tape can work now, but does that change the value in any way? Because you've restored it, but you have made
Yeah.
a change. So how does that affect the value?
It affects the value. If you can get it to play, it brings up the grade significantly, because the grades for this kind of stuff, they're use objects. It's based around, unless we're talking about sealed stuff, which is a whole other can of worms. Then yeah, I mean, being able to play the thing is of paramount importance, and that's like I saved a few $100 the other day actually for myself, because I got in a few cassettes that needed pad replacements. One of them was worth $100. It was a Mobile Fidelity Lab version of Steely Dan's Asia. And the other thing about replacing the pads, I would say, is use a pencil or a pen if the thing isn't at the leader, and bring it back to the leader first, so that if there's any glue that gets on anything, it's not getting directly on the tape.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so that's getting into repair stuff, which, I mean, if there's interest in that, I could do a short video on basic tape repair.